WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. This is going to be a fun one. Before I get to my guest, I will say that we will be getting back after the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery. We'll be letting ourselves play. I got Nacho Mamas in line for this. We've got COVID issues. We're trying to figure it all out. But if you're following us out on social media, we'll get back out to giving away those Ravens scratch-offs and having some fun and eating crab cakes. You know, this guy's gotten further and further and further away from crab cakes since he left us. You know, he had that minute and a half down in Burgundy and Gold back when they had a nickname. And then he went out to Cincinnati for a couple decades, won a lot of football games, and disappointed me at various points. He's now out in the desert. And I don't – what they serve you Dungeness crabs, or do you order from Costas or Fadley's, one of our sponsors, Marvin Lewis? How does a man in Arizona get a Maryland crab?
Coco's.
Oh, your Coco's is your guy. All right, there you go. All right.
Coco's.
We did the show at Coco's. The mayor loves Coco's too. So
Dave Petramala turned me on to Coco's.
All right. So you got lacrosse activity here, right? So look,
Yes.
I'll get you back for a crab cake tour.
Yeah, well, I still got Liberatories.
Well,
got Liberatories.
John Liberatore gave me a delicious meatball 2 weeks ago. It took me 3 days to eat it. It was delicious. So shout out, and I'm trying to do the crab cake tour at Liberatore. So with Dante and everything at your way.
Right.
People love you here, and you have, for our purposes in Baltimore, disappeared a little bit, right? We don't watch Pac, like Arizona State. People don't know the difference between Tucson and Phoenix over here. But how are you? What's going on? How's life, Marvin?
I'm good. We're, we just finished the season we lost in the bowl game to Wisconsin. And, it was a season that we had some highs and some lows. We probably had an opportunity to win a couple ball games we should have won. And, you can't let those get away. And, but, it's been fun. I've enjoyed what I'm doing here. Assisting Coach Edwards in every way I can, and trying to help our young coaches and our players. That's the whole model here is, these guys now, college football's changed. They come here basically with the intent that they're going to be in the NFL in 3 years. And obviously not all of them make it, but they all think they are. And part of my responsibility is to help them with that. How to mature, how to grow, how to learn, how to study, so they do have that opportunity if they are physically talented enough.
Are you in your elder statesmanship, I don't want to say more cut out for this, but is this something that it's got to be different than it was managing Chad Ochocinco when he had money in a car and gold shoes, or Vontaze, or any of the other, troubled players, great players, first overall picks in Carson Palmer, but to go back to young people again, to go back to 17, 18, 19-year-old men, is it dramatically different than being involved with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Ravens and the Steelers and all the years of doing what you did?
Well, I think these guys these days, everything has to happen right now. They talk about the microwave society, the millennials, whatever it may be. And they're used to everything happening right now. That's not the way life is. And so you're trying to get them to understand.
So the internet and Grubhub, it's not the way real life works. You just click it and it comes? No?
No, it's just, it just doesn't, Amazon is really, that's just not the way it is, where you click and next thing you know, it's at your doorstep. But
well, I'm clicking and talking to you right here. In the old days, you have to drive across the city from Owings Mills, and I could see you with the lights on.
I'd be in Dundalk. I could be in Dundalk.
but for young people, that the microwave thing you talk about, that's not the way it happens when you're second string or you're third string or you're JV.
No, they don't believe
or
in
you're a
second
freshman.
string.
Right?
They never were second string. That's they don't believe in that. And so that's why the NCAA came up with the most stupidest thing they could ever thought of, the transfer portal. Between that and the NIL, it makes no sense for college athletics. But these people who make legislation, who never coast a down or understand anything about really the real world, and they have this perception, and that's fine. Up their scholarship checks, do whatever. But to say that somebody can fund somebody outside the building, and you think that's not going to be corrupt, that's crazy.
Marvin Lewis is here. He is our friend, our guest, and doing things with the Arizona State Sun Devils and coaching football. So we're about to go through this derby where guys like you, your name pops up and all that stuff. I want to stay on the field for a minute before I even get to any coaching derbies or any of that. The Ravens haven't won in a month. Roethlisberger is going to get the final game here. And the Bengals are back in the spotlight, and that's probably not even why I'm bugging you. I've been bugging you for a month. I was waiting for the bowl games to get over. But this has been a fascinating study. You've been out of the league a couple of years now, and playing through COVID, playing with no quarterbacks, and for the Ravens to have December be a month where they don't win a football game, we must be in the middle of a plague, Marvin Lewis. I'll tell you that right now. Pestilence.
It's a downturn, I can tell you that, but for the Ravens, because obviously the tradition, the history, and what they're all about, and they've just been coming up short. They've lost a lot of close games. I get an opportunity to look at football a different way now, and study it more scientifically and so forth, and since we've been done since, our last regular season game was Saturday there after Thanksgiving. So you get an opportunity to study tape and watch these guys and see what trends are what going through. And the same with college football. And we did a lot of off-season study on the Georgia defenses last year. We've done Alabama in the past, so Ohio State. So we kind of know, who's the top level people in college football and what they're doing. And then you look to the NFL and, like you said, right now, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, he's one fine player, Justin Herbert, who played at Oregon, who we coached against a couple years ago. So, we've seen some of these young quarterbacks who come in the NFL and they've done great. And it's a quarterback driven league. It still is. If you don't have a quarterback, it's very, very difficult to win. And that's proven in every level of football.
Well, look, you've known Eric and Ozzie from the beginning and John and all the battles and all that stuff. But when this organization drafted Lamar, moved back in to take Lamar, and then did everything from that moment forward to say, we have a different kind of quarterback, we're going to play a different kind of game, we're going to utilize wide receivers and blocking and tight ends and Nick Boyle, we're going to turn Pat Ricard into a fullback, and all the things that they've done the last couple of years to support that decision. That was a decision not a lot of guys in your chair, Duke's chair, or wherever would be real quick to commit to. But I got to hand it to the Ravens from that decision to do things differently in a way that nobody's really ever done it this way, trying to run the football. They've had a lot of success, but now in a year where the injuries are here, they have to pay, right? Now's the time. Are they going to marry Lamar? Are they going to stay with it? Talk to me about running an offense like this, or even being the defensive-minded guy, the notion that you're going to stop a run-first offense, an RPO NFL offense.
Well, we coached against Lamar early his rookie year when he was just coming in with his package. And, obviously they didn't feel that was as effective. And then I got to coach my first game back calling defense was when Lamar became the starting quarterback. And, and I can remember the first third down when it was 3rd and 6, and we got an option. And it just, the whole plan went out the window. We weren't sure he was going to be the starting quarterback until Friday afternoon. So on Saturday, we tried to alter some things, but he does make a difference. And I think more that's the issue is now with Huntley in there at quarterback, he has some of the skills, but he doesn't have Lamar Jackson's skills. And that's the difference in when they go from Lamar to the second guy doesn't quite have those same special skills that Lamar has. So it is a little different, yet your structure is built for Lamar. And you talked about it, with the tight ends and so forth and everything they've done. They've tried to add the speed outside with Ricard at fullback and so forth, the things they've done, the type of running backs that they have put in place there over the last couple of seasons, So, all that, has an impact all the way down the line on everyone. with that. And, obviously there's been a lot of linemen that have moved on. Orlando moves on. Now they got Villanueva in there at that spot, so they made some changes up front in the offensive line as well.
Well, then the injuries, right? I mean, Ronnie Stanley, Marcus Peters,
Oh yeah,
Marlon
you
Humphrey.
can't, you're when you lose your tackles and your things like that, it's hard. And they lost the backs right away this year, and they did a great job of finding some running backs that were on the street. They came in early in the year and did a great job filling in. You're right. I keep up with Ozzie and Eric every week, and what's going on there, So, and it's obviously Baltimore is still a special place for us.
Marvin Lewis is here. He is where the sun is shining out in Arizona and talking some football. All right, so, for the Bengals' success, I can tell a fun story. A couple years ago when Jem was ill and you were moving up the charts with the Bengals playing the Steelers, you sent me a Bengals turtleneck that I may put that on that. I don't have a team, Marv. I used to root for you when we get knocked out. Right now, I'm not going to root for Belichick, so I'm trying to figure out. But the Burrow thing, I would think after all these years, people would say, well, they're winning. Marv's not there. He'd be sore. I'm thinking you're probably the world's biggest Bengals fan in the aftermath of all this. For all the people you left behind there, this has been something to see this kid come in and improve and get better and see them come back from where it was when you left, right?
Yeah, I'm happy for Mike and the family. I've spoke with Mike. He called me a few weeks ago and we talked, and I talked with Troy and Katie, and so the people in management. And but Joe Burrow's special. I mean, you could see that a year ago before he was injured. He's a special player. From what I understand from everybody in the building, he's a great young man. Holds up his end of the bargain, which is great to hear. In every way, and that's good. And obviously, they've added some great people. They've got great skill people. Joe Mixon, who we drafted, Tyler Boyd, but the two young receivers that have come on and played are outstanding. CJ still a tight end, does a great job. And then the guys on defense, the 2 second-round picks we had my last year, Jesse Bates, Sam Hubbard, have done a great job on defense throughout the year. And so communicating with those guys, the punter, the long snapper, throughout the year, watching them, and I'm happy for them. It's hard to go through 2 and 14 years, or basically what they did, and for those guys to be able to hold on and work their way through that's difficult. And now they come out on the other side of it as division champs.
I gotta be careful. I got Schwartzy back in Tennessee now. I got friends in places. I gotta stay out of this. Marv, it's that time of the year. This will be the weekend where things are happening and whatever. You and I have been at this a long time in lots of different ways. If an owner comes to you, I'll act like I'm asking Harbaugh a question now. If an owner comes to you and says, "All right, Marv, come in. Tell me what you've learned the last couple years in college football that make you a better candidate." Even better than you were all the years through this, because you are coaching, you want to coach. I don't think it would be a secret that if your name showed up next week with interviewing, that you've done this and you've done this successfully for a long time. But these last couple years where you've quietly went away from some fans, you're in a little laboratory there. You were never that far removed from college players because you were always talking to them in Indianapolis when I saw you out there. But now to re-immerse in it, I would think that it makes you an even better NFL head coach because you went back and did this for a little while.
Well, you really get a chance to understand these young guys and where they're coming from. You understand the origins and what they know, what they don't know. And that's the first thing. But I think secondly, the fact that in college football, you really have to defend 11-on-11 football a lot. And now that's gone into the NFL. Obviously we talked about Lamar earlier, but he makes you even up 11-on-11. But that's going to be part of the offenses going forward, because those style of quarterbacks are not going away. They're producing him. The number 1 pick a year ago, Trevor Lawrence, was that kind of guy. Even though he's 6'5", 6", he's a great athlete who can run, and he can have a part where he's going to make you 3 or 4 first downs a game with his legs. And that's the part of football and defending offense that's very, very difficult with that. So
yeah, Peyton Manning gave you fits, but he was never going to take off and run.
Right, he's not going to run very often, and but these guys are different. There's obviously, You mentioned Ben. Ben's different. They have a little degree of that in Pittsburgh's offense, but he's not gonna run for 40 yards. He might run for 3 or 4 and get down and make the first down. And that's the same thing. So, but that's part of it. I think the trend to be able to stop it on defense, what's effective and how do you stop it on defense is the other side of it. And, we've got to look to defend it week in and week out in college.
Marv, I'm a quitter at heart, so I've, this 2% of the Ravens I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, probably not, but Roethlisberger's coming in, and all the yins from Mont Cherry are coming down the hill, and I think the stadium's going to be full of Steelers fans. I mean, certainly from what we saw, the emotional thing. I had Ed Bouchette on earlier today, so you're keeping good company in Pittsburgh, and he said he's never seen anything like the Roethlisberger thing the other night against Cleveland, the sort of the send-off. What do you want to say about Ben? You spent half your life trying to beat him, half your life trying to beat us. The Browns, well, they were what they were, but Ben has represented in your hometown of Pittsburgh something that, stuck around. A lot of the players got out of Pittsburgh because of salary cap and all of that. But Ben's going out on his terms in the end, and you stayed up all night trying to beat him for a decade and a half. We all did, right?
No doubt. And he put me here.
Sent you on a one-way trip to Arizona, huh?
Yeah. And, but no, Ben came to my first year in Cincinnati. The head coach of Miami, Terry, and I can't remember his last name now, unfortunately passed away, brought Ben down to training camp. And I can remember meeting Ben then when he was still going to be a senior there at Miami of Ohio. And when the Steelers drafted Ben in 2004, Mike Brown said to me, doggone, they got a quarterback. Mike Brown, he knows quarterback. It's amazing. He has a feel for quarterbacks. And he was like, they got a quarterback. And he was.
Is that hard to see from a kid in a small school? I mean, even Flacco at Delaware, or anybody that's ever that's hard to see how that translates, right?
Well, I think Mike had spent a lot of time, he watches a lot of football. And back then, the MAC was on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Friday nights. And so Mike would see all those MAC games. And the kid was right up the road. So, he watched and followed, and he just felt like with his stature and his ability to throw the football, he would be a great NFL quarterback. He told me the same thing about Drew Brees and Andrew Luck. He's like, daggone, this falls into things. Well, unfortunately, Bill wasn't there after Andrew Luck. But, those are the things. Mike loves quarterbacks, and but he said me, those things to me, and he's been spot on that way. So, but Ben he is represented. He really has done a great job. They've won a lot of football games, 2 Super Bowls. You can't take that away from him. And, been outstanding.
Well, Marv, I appreciate time with you as always, and I hope things are going okay out of recruiting class, like normal thing. I mean, COVID's got to be like at the collegiate level trying to do this is tough.
Now. Yeah, it's different. You have the early signing, you have the portal, you have the grad transfer, so it's totally different. So these coaches will get back out and get on the road this weekend. I think they actually have a kid coming in this weekend now, but I'm going to get to go to see and spend. I was asked by one of my players, Andrew Whitworth, former players, to come be with his family in the suite in LA, what may be his last regular season game on Sunday versus the 49ers. So I'm going to go to LA and enjoy that with his family and get a chance to connect with them. And I just privileged to have had the opportunity to coach Andrew and draft him, and I'm excited about that.
SoFi Stadium, huh?
SoFi Stadium for the first time. I was in the Raiders, whatever they call it, Reliant, whatever it's called.
Allegiant. Yeah, we were there.
I was in Allegiant last Thursday, and now I get to go to SoFi.
Still a man of stadiums and still always available to us. Marvin Lewis out in Arizona State coaching up football and coaching them up good just off a bowl appearance. Marv, always good to see you, man. Next time we'll get you better lighting next time, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's all that backlit sunshine. It's 100. It's
the
110
sunlight,
today.
you
What is
know?
it out there today?
Pardon me?
What's it? 110 out there today? What do you got?
No, it's been cold. It's only going to get about 65 today. But I am going to
Oh,
off today, Nestor, for the first time in about 4 or 5 months. So since football started. So.
all right, bro. Well, you take care of yourself. Stay safe out there. Good luck. And if you wind up like coaching another team or whatever, you can send me a sweatshirt
Yes,
over. You know, I mean,
we'll be ready. All right.
yeah, I'll put a ball cap on to support you, Marvin, anytime. Hey, but not the burgundy and gold. I wouldn't do that. You know, it's places I'll go, but not there. Marvin Lewis joining us here. I am Nestor. We are WNST AM 1570. Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking. Baltimore positive.